My name is Arthur. I'm 85 years old, and I still smell her perfume in certain rooms. Not everywhere, just certain places. The hallway near the bedroom, the corner by the window in the living room, sometimes in the closet when I open the door too quickly.
It's not really there, I know that, but I smell it anyway. Her name was Diane. We were married for 41 years. She died 6 years ago, lung cancer. She never smoked a day in her life. People told me the smell would fade, that eventually the house would stop holding on to her. They were right about most things. Her clothes are gone, her books, the little things she kept on the dresser. But the perfume stays. Or maybe I just need it to. We met when I was 26. She was 24. It was at a wedding. Someone's cousin. I don't even remember whose. I was standing by the bar and she walked past me. I smelled her before I saw her face. Something floral, light, not too sweet. I turned around and she was already gone. I spent the rest of the night trying to find her. When I finally did, she was sitting outside on the steps, smoking a cigarette. She quit a few years later, but back then, everyone smoked. I asked if I could sit. She said sure. We didn't talk much, just sat there. She finished her cigarette. I finished my drink. Then she said, "You've been looking for me." I said, "How'd you know?" She smiled. "Because I've been letting you." We got married 8 months later. People said it was too fast, that we barely knew each other. Maybe they were right. But it didn't feel fast. It felt like something that was always going to happen. Diane was a teacher. 3rd grade. She loved it. She'd come home and tell me stories about her students, the things they said, the questions they asked. She had this way of talking about them like they were the most fascinating people in the world. I worked in insurance. It wasn't fascinating, but she never made me feel small for it. She'd ask about my day. I'd tell her. She'd listen. Not the way people listen when they're waiting for their turn to talk. The way people listen when they actually care. We had a good life. A quiet life. We didn't have children. We tried for a few years. It didn't happen. The doctors said it was me. Low count, bad motility, something like that. Diane said it was okay, that we'd be fine just the two of us. I said okay too, but I don't think either of us really believed it. She started wearing that perfume about 10 years into our marriage. I don't remember what it was called, something French. She'd put it on in the morning after her shower, just a little, on her wrists, behind her ears. I'd smell it when she kissed me goodbye, when she walked past me in the kitchen, when I held her at night. It became the smell of her, not just something she wore, but something she was. We didn't fight much, not because we were perfect, but because we didn't know how. When something was wrong, we'd just go quiet. She'd go to her side of the house, I'd go to mine. We'd wait for it to pass, and it always did. Except once. It was about 15 years ago, maybe 16. Her mother had just died. Diane took it hard. She stopped going to work for a while, stopped getting dressed some days, stopped wearing the perfume. I didn't know what to do. I'd try to talk to her. She'd say she was fine. I'd ask if she wanted to go for a walk. She'd say maybe later. I'd sit next to her on the couch. She'd stare at the television. I thought I was giving her space. I thought that's what she needed. But I was wrong. One night I came home from work and she was in the bedroom, sitting on the floor, going through old photo albums, pictures of her mother, her childhood, her family. She was crying. Not loud, just quiet tears running down her face. I stood in the doorway, watching her. I wanted to go in, sit with her, hold her, but I didn't. I thought maybe she wanted to be alone. So I closed the door, and I went to the kitchen, and I made dinner. She came out about an hour later. Her eyes were red, but she'd washed her face. She sat down at the table. I put a plate in front of her. She looked at it, then at me. She said, "You didn't come in." I said, "I didn't want to bother you." She didn't say anything, just picked up her fork, and we ate in silence. She went back to work a few weeks later, started wearing the perfume again. Things went back to normal, or at least they looked normal. But something had changed. I felt it, but I didn't know what it was. We stopped talking as much. Not in an obvious way. We still had conversations, still asked about each other's days. But the deep talks, the late-night conversations where we'd stay up and just talk about nothing and everything, those stopped. I told myself we were just getting older, that this is what happens. People settle into routines. But I think I knew. I think I knew I'd let something slip away that night, when I closed the door instead of opening it. Years passed. We celebrated anniversaries, took vacations, spent holidays with her sister's family. We were fine, comfortable. But there was a distance between us that hadn't been there before. Not big enough to name, just big enough to feel. She got sick 7 years ago, started coughing, thought it was a cold. It wasn't. By the time they found it, it had already spread. 6 months, they said, maybe a year if we were lucky. We got 11 months. She stopped working right away. We spent a lot of time at home, watching movies, reading, sitting on the porch. She didn't talk much about being sick, about dying. She just wanted things to be normal for as long as they could be. So that's what we did. We pretended. There was one day, about 2 months before she died. She was having a good day. The pain wasn't as bad. We were sitting in the living room. She was on the couch. I was in my chair. She said, "Arthur, do you remember when my mother died?" I said yes. She said, "Do you remember that night, when I was going through the photo albums?" I nodded. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, "I wanted you to come in." I felt something drop in my chest. I said, "I thought you wanted to be alone." She shook her head, slowly. She said, "I wanted you to see me. I wanted you to sit with me. I didn't want to be alone." I didn't know what to say. I started to apologize, to explain, but she just held up her hand. She said, "It's okay. I know you didn't understand. I should have said something." But it wasn't okay, because I should have known. I should have opened the door instead of closing it. She died 3 weeks later, at home, in our bed. I was holding her hand. The last thing she said to me was, "It was a good life." I said, "It was." And I meant it. But I also knew we could have had more. If I'd been braver, if I'd asked instead of assumed, if I'd walked through the door instead of closing it. After she died, people came by, brought food, said kind things. They told me it would get easier. They told me time would heal. They were half right. It did get easier to function, to go through the day, to sleep at night, but the grief didn't shrink. It just became something I carried differently. I kept the house exactly the way it was for about a year. Her clothes in the closet, her books on the shelf, her coffee mug in the cabinet. Then one day, her sister came over and said it was time. She helped me pack things up. We donated most of it. Kept a few things. Photos, letters, a scarf she used to wear, and one bottle of her perfume, half empty. I don't know why I kept it. I've never opened it, but I keep it in the drawer next to my bed. The smell started a few months after that. At first, I thought I was imagining it. I'd walk into the bedroom and catch it, just for a second. Or I'd be in the hallway, and there it was. Light, familiar, gone before I could really hold on to it. I mentioned it to her sister once. She said it was probably just my mind playing tricks, that grief does that sometimes. Maybe she's right, but it doesn't feel like a trick. It feels like a presence. I smell it most in the morning, when I first wake up. I'll be lying there halfway between sleep and awake, and I'll catch it. And for just a moment, I forget she's gone. I think she's in the bathroom, getting ready for work, that any second she'll come back into the room, lean over, kiss my forehead, and say goodbye. Then I open my eyes, and the room is empty, and I remember. Sometimes I wonder if it's real, if maybe she left something behind, some trace of herself, something that won't let go. Or maybe I'm the one who won't let go. Maybe I need to smell it because it's the only way I can still feel her here. I'm 85 years old now. The house is quiet most of the time. Her sister visits once a month. My nephew stops by every few weeks. But mostly, it's just me and the smell.
I think about all the other times I closed doors without realizing it. All the times she needed me to see her, and I looked away. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't know how. Because I thought love was about giving space, about not bothering, about letting someone grieve alone. But love isn't about space. It's about showing up. Even when you don't know what to say. Even when all you can do is sit there. Even when it's uncomfortable. I can't go back. I can't open that door now. I can't sit with her on the floor and just be there. All I can do is live with it and smell her perfume in certain rooms and know that she's gone and that I missed chances I didn't even know I had. People ask me sometimes if I'm lonely. I tell them no, but that's not really true. I'm not lonely in the way they mean. I'm not looking for company. I'm lonely for her, for the version of us we could have been if I'd been braver, if I'd asked more questions, if I'd walked through doors instead of closing them. I still smell her perfume in certain rooms, the hallway, the corner by the window, the closet. It's not really there, but I smell it anyway. And I stand there, and I breathe it in, and I let myself remember, not just the good parts, but the hard parts too, the parts I got wrong, the parts I'd do differently if I could. I'm 85 years old, and I still smell her perfume in certain rooms. Maybe I always will. Maybe that's how I'll carry her, not in the big moments, but in the small ones, in the scent that lingers, in the space she left behind, in the quiet knowing that I loved her, but I could have loved her better. If you stayed with me through this, thank you. I don't know why I needed to say it out loud. Maybe because time is running out. Maybe because I want someone to know that she was here, that she mattered, that I'm sorry, and that I still smell her perfume in certain rooms, and I hope I always do.